Hey guys, welcome to FIFA 20, a new game here on the channel, and a mode of mine that's been kind of my favorite ever since kind of FIFA 11 days was always career mode. Career mode hasn't necessarily always seen the most love from FIFA, but that hasn't really stopped me loving the game. I still really enjoy career mode. I love kind of the progression of building kind of the team that I think is the best team, and I'm really excited to play this FIFA 20 career mode. I know we've got some new things like press conferences before and after matches. We've got dynamic potential, and we've got player conversations that affect morale and stats and things like that. So that's really cool because that's exactly what happens in real life. You know, if you piss someone off, it's probably going to affect them in the game. But before we get into all of that, we've got the fun job here of choosing our manager. Now, I don't know about you guys, when I was looking at this screen the first time, do you not think this guy on the right looks like Mo Gilligan? If you guys don't know who Mo Gilligan is, Google him. He's a comedian. Kind of started on like Snapchat and stuff like that, but has grown into a huge kind of internet sensation, and he's gone on to have his own show in the UK here on Channel 4, and he's got a show on Netflix and stuff. But he looked really like him, and yeah, just as a point that I saw when I went out. So I actually think I look probably most like this middle dude, but I'm going to edit him to try and make him look as much as I can. I'm not going to bore you with all of the editing, so I'm just going to speed this up or cut this out. I haven't made my mind up yet. And we'll cut into where we get to the fun, exciting bit where we figure out what team we're choosing. Or if you've probably already seen the thumbnail, you probably already know what team we've chosen for. But bear with me, I'm just going to create this player. So this is the fun bit where we get to choose the team that we are going to lead to all sorts of glory. And I had a couple of thoughts when I was thinking about this. Obviously, I didn't want to start with a team that was already amazing, like Liverpool or someone like that, who's already doing amazing. I kind of wanted a challenge, a team that I could grow, and a team that actually, in real life, maybe isn't doing as well as I think it should be. And I think that maybe I can play a critical role in turning that club around. So the couple of options on my choice were, where are they gone? Where are Bournemouth gone? Why are Bournemouth not there? Anyways, so Bournemouth was one of them, one of my choices. The other choice that I wanted was Leicester City. Again, they're kind of on that cusp of kind of in the Premier League of kind of like sixth-ish position. God, my English is horrendous. And I thought I could be the ones to kick them forward into that top four. But I decided that may be too easy. They've already got quite a few good players. I also think of Newcastle as well. Newcastle's an interesting club in interesting position, particularly in real life. But again, I thought Newcastle's a pretty big club. They've had a lot of success in the past, and they've got probably going to have quite a bit of money and things like that. I also thought of Norwich, an interesting kind of promoted team. But the team I've decided to go for is Watford. And the reason I'm going for Watford is I think that they should be doing a lot better than they are. You can see by even FIFA are giving them a 4-star rating, but the way they've started this Premier League season in real life is appalling. They obviously made it to the FA Cup final last year, and then they got tonked by Manchester City in the final, which I think hurt them a lot. And I just think that they, one, should be doing a lot better than they should be, and two, I think their squad has a lot of potential. They have a couple of players, particularly, people like Delafeu, people like Decore. I think those players like that can be real linchpins to create a really good team around them. And I genuinely think, this team in the past has finished in the top half of the table, and I definitely believe that I have the ability to, one, get Watford into the top half of the table, but be able to kind of push those Europa League places. But obviously, in real life, they are far, far from that. But hopefully, we've seen in real life, Watford are very gun-ho with sacking their managers and stuff. So that's the only risk. Whether that's related into this game, I have no idea. But I wonder how patient Watford will be with us. Hopefully we can get some good results and stuff. But I think if we don't get those results early on, we don't get some big wins and get the season off well, I think we probably could be in trouble. But that all adds to the fun of the career mode. If we do lose our job at Watford, where will we go? How will we rebuild? All that type of stuff. So we'll just look at their expectations here. And this is another reason why Watford, for me, was a good choice. Like, nothing is super high, so you're not having to, although these things don't really affect anything, you don't really have to wow them and start winning things in the first season. You see, domestic success is low, so they're not really expecting anything from me. So anything we do win will be a surprise, and will be people will be glad that we've done it rather than kind of expecting us to finish top 6 or something like that and then us finishing 8th or something like that. Obviously, continental success is low. Watford are nowhere near Europe at the moment. Brand exposure is medium, which I kind of accept. Watford is a relatively big club. Financial is low, so again, we haven't got too much money to play with. So we'll have to be careful about what types of players we choose to bring in, what types of players we choose to let go. I do think there's a lot of how can I say this nicely? I can't think of any way to say this nicely, but dead wood in the Watford team. Lots of players who have kind of hung around for a while, and I just don't think are at the level of quality that we're going to need to really pursue and push the top half of the table. And obviously, youth development is very low. There's not many, other than maybe Troy Deeney, who's kind of, I don't even know if he's a youth player that came through Watford, but they haven't really had any local players, so youth development is very low for them. But it will be good to try and break through some young players. And so for all of those reasons and all of that waffle, which is why we are going to choose Watford, and as you can see, they're formed in 1881, but renamed in 1898. So they've got a club with a lot of history, and we'll be sure to kind of rewrite a new chapter in their history throughout this career mode. So we got our first opportunity here in these pre-season tournaments to earn a bit more extra cash, but also test ourselves out against some of these teams. Just looking at them, they're all relatively similar. Obviously, in this first one, the European International Cup here, we've got the likes of Wolfsburg. I don't even know some of the other teams. Lille, I think, there's in there. And in the other one, we have kind of AZ Alkmaar, we have PSV. So this is not an easy one either. And in the European Continental Shield, we've got Sporting, Hertha Berlin. So these all got like kind of difficult-ish teams. And so I think because that's the case, we're just going to go for the one that gives us the most money and see what happens. We've got Mönchengladbach, I think, in this as well. So we'll test ourselves out against these teams and see how we do. So we're just going to go right in and sim this first pre-season game here against Frankfurt, see how it goes. I think I'm only going to play these pre-season games if we get towards the final or if we get anywhere close. But let's see. I'm hopeful that we won't get smashed. We drew 1-1, which is not a bad result at all. Ducore getting the goal for us, and Jovelic, I think is how you say the name. But Danny Welbeck and Will Hughes coming on. We did pick up, 3 of the back 4 picked up yellow cards, which, interesting. I'm not sure what that means about our discipline levels. Hopefully, they're not too bad. But before we get into the next game, I just want to show you some of the players that I'm thinking about buying and that I'm currently scouting. I'm going to come back to once the scouts are finished. But we've got a whole bunch of players here that I've gone. I will go through all of these in detail once we get kind of scout reports back on them. Without them, it's kind of hard to say what they are. But what we have done is transfer listed a couple of players. Now, these are some players that I don't think are that good. They're not really going to be starting, not even really going to be a choice that I come to. There are some young players there, but there are also some kind of more older, experienced players. So Sebastian Prodl's there, Isaac Success is there. And Folquier, I think is how you say his name. I've never heard of him, never seen him play for Watford. And he's kind of not really anywhere as good as kind of my right midfielders or any kind of even substitutes for right midfielders. And he's quite high on the wage bill as well. So he's earning 44k, which is quite high compared to the rest of the Watford players. So he will be going. I think so far we've received an offer from Sebastian Prodl. So they're offering us... what have they offered us? They've offered us 2.5 million, which is above his value. And I think that's a pretty good deal. I don't see any reason not to say that. So we're going to go ahead and sell Sebastian Prodl. We then also have another player here another player that I think has good potential, but I just don't see him fitting into the team in the next year or even 2, is Domingos Quinoa. He made a couple of appearances actually last season for Watford. That was quite promising. I think he played against West Ham, I think it is. He scored a really good goal. But I just don't really see a role for him in this team. His stats are okay, but I'm looking at bringing in, when we get to the shortlist and we look at some of the players I've shortlisted, we are looking at bringing in a Cam, but someone that's probably a little better than him. So I'm hopefully sending him out on loan here for a year. Hertha Berlin have come in, will help him progress, and he can come back in and kind of take that kind of Cam position, which for me I've kind of identified is the position that I think needs the most work in this Watford team. Right now we have Tom Cleverley playing there. For me, Tom Cleverley isn't a Cam player. He's much more of a central midfielder. And so we need that creative player that's going to link up with Deulofeu and Pereira, and also kind of feed the ball into Andre Gray, who's going to be my starting centre forward But we obviously do have Troy Deeney and Danny Welbeck, who can all, I think all three of them could be the starting striker. So it'll be interesting to see kind of as some of the games go on and we do rotate the strikers who actually takes their chance. But we will go ahead and accept this offer for Kieran. And hopefully he does well on his 1 year. We wish him well in his year with Hertha Berlin. So let's just jump forward to this Wolfsburg game. Well, before we've got that, we've got a few things in. We've got Inter have come in. Interesting. For a purchase of Gerard Deulofeu. And I think you all know what the answer to this is going to be. It's going to be a hell no. He's our best player. And yeah, there's just no way Deulofeu is leaving. Unless he comes in and demands to leave. And even in that case, we'll have to think really hard about it. He's going to be the linchpin of this team, particularly for this first season. And he's not going to be going anywhere. But it looks like we've got another offer here. Atalanta are showing some interest in Etienne Capoue. Now, this is interesting. Now, this is something that I could be a little more leaning towards. He is 30. He is kind of a key player for us. But, he's getting older. And we are getting kind of more than we said. So we're going to negotiate, see if we can push a slightly higher value here for Etienne Capoue. So they're obviously prepared to give us 12.6, which was their offer. And we're going to propose a new transfer fee. We're just going to bump it up a bit because obviously he's 30 years old. He's in his prime. If we can get, I think, if we make it 14.5, I think that would be a fair offer. See if Atalanta are up for that. There we go. Wow. When they say that, you're always like, oh, I wish I could have put it even higher. But wow, 14.5 million. I will take that for Etienne Capoue. Yeah, as I said, he's kind of getting on a bit, and we do want to reinvigorate this squad with a bit of youth as well. So getting rid of Capoue and maybe bringing in a young, hungry centre midfielder, I think will only do good things for our team. Well, it looks like before we get into that Wolfsburg game, we've got a transfer offer for Isaac Success. So it looks like two teams have come in. We've got Bordeaux and Nunez. So I'll have a look. Again, Isaac Success, barring his name, which is probably the best name ever, he's just not someone that I'm going to be using. He's got a bit of pace and stuff like that, but he's just... I've got Troy Deeney and Danny Welbeck, and those are going to be kind of my strikers I go with, at least for the beginning part of the season. Depends on when we get to January. That might be another case. But he's someone, again, that I don't really favour, and I don't think is really going to fit into this kind of team that I want to create. So we've got two offers. We've got one from Bordeaux and one from Nunez. And I think, they're offering over 1.3 million. So we're going to negotiate again. It worked well with Atalanta. So we'll see what we can get for Isaac Success. This time we're meeting in a very fancy, what's that, like a restaurant or something? They'd be willing to pay 6.3 million for Success. So we're going to just up the thing. I think we can demand around 9 million. I think that's a fair offer for Isaac Success. They can't offer more than 6.9. Interesting. Maybe what we can do is, because he's still quite young, we can maybe add on a sell-on clause instead. I'm keen to get rid of him. I don't really want to keep him on the wage bill. So I would be willing to accept 6.9. Okay, interesting. So they don't want to up that, but they've gone to nearly 8 million. So I think I'm happy to accept that. Close to 8 million for Isaac Success. Only 1 million off what I kind of wanted in the first place. And we still do get a sell-on clause as well, I think. So that's good to see. So I think now we will jump into this second preseason game here against Wolfsburg. First one went okay. Pressed the wrong button. We will sim this game, see what happens. And we do lose this time. So Ducore again getting the goal for us, actually opening the scoring in the 41st minute. But they equalised pretty quickly with Weghorst. And they then went on and won. Have they got too many big players? They've got Mbabu, who I recognise, Mecha, who I recognise, Bruma. So they got some decent players, but I think we should probably be... Wolfsburg are probably on our level, I would say. So that's a bit of a shame that we didn't win that one. So I'm going to go ahead and sim again this final group game against Werder Bremen. I thought I knew that logo, but I couldn't remember what it is. And Yeah, another not so good result for us. We lost again. So again, Bremen is a kind of team that I would expect us to be kind of on level with. Interesting that our two subs were both our defenders. Interesting they said that. But Andre Gray getting his first goal of the season. Yeah, Toprak came on. He's a name I recognise. But again, so I don't think we will have progressed unless something crazy happened in the group. Yeah, it looks like we've been kicked out. And I think let's just have a look at our notifications. I think we just got a notification that Etienne Capoue has been sold. Yeah, we did. Well, we didn't get through the group stage, so we only got £1.7 million or £1.17 million that is from the pre-season tournament. So not the best. Let's have a look at some of the players that we have put in the transfer hub and that we have shortlisted. So yeah, I'm just going to go through these one by one and kind of describe why. So the first one we have up is Sandro Tonali, a player with great potential. Comes from Brescia in Italy, can play the CDM or the CM position, probably could also play the cam position. 4-star weak foot, which is always great. And yeah, just a kind of a good player to have in your team, obviously high defensive work rate as well. The next player we have is Alexander Isaac from Real Sociedad. Again, another young striker. Someone who I put on the shortlist, but probably won't be buying right now, just because I think we're okay in the striker position with Gray, Deeney and Welbeck. But it would be good maybe in January to freshen up with a younger striker. So I think that would be good to add to the team as well. Again, 19, great potential. We haven't got the full scout report yet, but I kind of know from looking at stuff online that he's a good person. Another player we have here, Doniel Malin. He's someone I've seen in lots of different career modes, and which is probably why I'm not going to buy him. I would like to try out some other players. He is one of the kind of players that has one of the highest potentials, and will be picked up by loads of people in career mode by no doubt. Another player that I have on here is Ryan Brewster. Obviously, being a Liverpool fan, I have a vested interest in wanting to see him succeed. He's someone else that also has really high potential. I think he gets somewhere near close to like 88, 89. But again, another young striker, so I don't really need to be purchasing a young striker right now. But again, another really big prospect, and hopefully we can maybe persuade him with some more playing time at Watford than he would get at Liverpool. We then have some kind of set of midfield options. So again, kind of similar to Tonali, we have also Stefano Sensi, who comes from Sassuolo. I think he's actually on loan there, so I don't think we'll be able to get him. But he's another player that, now that Etienne Capoue's gone, I will be looking at looking to get maybe in a little bit more. He's 23, obviously, so he's slightly older. We'll look to see what his overall is once his scout report comes in. But now that obviously Etienne Capoue's gone, it will be good to bring in kind of a solid player, not a young player, to bring into that position. Another player who I actually probably am going to buy, although I've said I'm not going to buy some of these young strikers, Mason Greenwood is a player that I do want to purchase. He's obviously been kind of bought in by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this season, and he's already scored some great goals, I think, in the Europa League and in the League Cup as well. And I think he only has 12 months left on his contract. And obviously his value here is only 1.4 million. So we're just going to forget knowing what his overall is. We're just going to go and buy him. But it looks like we can't. Right. So the club have recently acquired this player. What do they mean? Mason Greenwood's been in their... I think he's been in their youth system for a while. That's a shame. He was someone I really wanted to go for. So that's a shame. Another player we have on here is Josep Brekalo from Wolfsburg, who we actually played in the... pre-season tournament. Again, another left winger / left forward who's young, kind of in that same mold as I would say someone like even Perisic, and could definitely be kind of a future Perisic. I think so. He'd be a really good person to bring in. Another player we have on here is Sergio Reguilon. I think that's how you say his name. My Spanish isn't too good. Coming from Real Madrid. Again, really positive left back. I do think he's actually starting for Real Madrid this season in Zidane's season, kind of being back as a Real Madrid manager, kind of almost as he's kind of, I think, the long-term replacement for Marcelo. So it'll be tough to pry him away from Real Madrid. Another player we have is Dan Axel Zagadou, and he is a tonk-looking centre-back, currently playing from Borussia Dortmund. He can play both centre-back and left-back, and I think could provide some real kind of heart and stability to the core of our defence. So we're going to see if we can go ahead and buy him. His value is 14 million, so we may have to pay a little bit over the odds for him. He does have a release clause. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change my mind as we're going through this. I think let's not get too hot-headed and go for some of these plays already. We're just going to evaluate our options and see what happens. Another player we have is Takefusa Kubo. Now, he's a player who I think towards the end of last season got a lot of attention. He came in and played, I think, 1 or 2 games for Madrid and has been absolutely bossing it for the Real Madrid B team. He's someone, again, that I hopefully, depending on what the scouting report comes back in, will hopefully go and buy. But again, I think he's also out on loan, so it'll be tough to buy him. So I've got lots of players on the shortlist that we're not necessarily going to try and buy straight away, but we will look to purchase in the future. Another one of those players who we may be looking to bring in slightly earlier is Alexander Golovin. Now, he's someone who is slightly older. He hasn't got a high high potential or anything like that, but I think could be a really, really solid player for us. He's obviously got international experience as well. He has high attacking and defensive work rate, which is really good. And I think he can play both that centre mid position alongside Doucouré as well as the cam position. So I think he could be a really good option. Another player we have is Jonathan Ikone, and he is someone, again, who is kind of a young prospect in that cam position, who could be a really good pie for us, I think. Another person we have is Nadim Amiri. Now, he's someone, again, who picked up kind of some traction and some interest, particularly towards the end of last season. Has some really good skill moves, as you can see, and definitely, again, can also play in that cam and centre mid position. So it's a bonus for me, I think, to be able to find a player that can play in both of those positions. I think Golovin would probably be my preferred purchase just now, just because of the high defensive work rate. So if we do play him in that centre mid or CDM position, he will be a bit better. We also have Sergio Pena. Again, kind of a player who I come across who's got good potential, plays for FC Eminen, I think that's how you say the name, Peruvian. But again, he's got high defensive work rate, which is interesting for a cam. So that will be good if we decide to put him into that centre mid position. We then also have Jose Ceballos. He's another player, again, who shows high potential for the future. But again, kind of the defensive and attacking work rate doesn't bring me with too much joy, and he's 24. And finally, an interesting choice we have on here. We have Enzo Zidane. Obviously, this is Zidane's other son. He obviously has Luca Zidane. He also has Enzo Zidane, who plays for Aves in Portugal. And he's someone, again, who's slightly older, but he can play in all of the positions where I need, like cam, centre mid, and CDM, which is really important for me. I want a versatile central midfielder. So we're just going to let the scouting go on for a couple of days. Hopefully, we get some good reports back on these players, and then we can make some decisions about who we want before we get into kind of the first Premier League game, which is be in August. It looks like we've got a couple of emails to deal with. So Isaac's Success has now gone to Bordeaux, so it's good to see. Galatasaray are interested in purchasing Adam Messina. So Messina is a centre-back who I think we have. Oh, no, sorry, he's a left-back who we have. And it's interesting because Holebas is getting on a bit, and Messina's actually pretty decent. He's 74 overall, so he's okay, and he's about 25. So actually, I'm going to just reject that offer because I think he's someone that I want to keep in the team. Isaac's Success, that was being rejoiced. So we've got some scout reports in, right. So now's the fun time where we get to look at the transfer hub. Have a look at what some of the overalls that have come in from some of the players here, and decide which ones we want to go for. So having a look at the cams at the bottom. So interesting. So if we have a look at these. So Enzo Zidane, actually, although he's 24 years old, his rating isn't actually that good. Amiri would be very interesting. 22 years old and already 78 rated. So he'd be a great addition to the team. Again, Golovin, again, someone 23 years old and 79 rating. But Jonathan Ikone has really caught my eye. 79 rated, and he's only 21. I'm not sure what his potential is, but look at that. Some of his stats there: acceleration, sprint speed. He can also play out on the right as well, which is interesting. Obviously, got Roberto Pereira playing there on the right. So I'm kind of torn here a bit. Golovin's obviously got a little more experience and obviously played internationally, but Ikone is a better rating. And I think he maybe played for France as well, or is breaking into that France team. So I think we're gonna bite the bullet here. We're gonna try and buy Jonathan Ikone here. He does have a release clause, which is quite high. I don't think we'll be able to afford that, so we will try and negotiate. So we're definitely going to try and purchase Jonathan Ikone, and I think we will try and we'll try and see if we can get it for 20 million. That would be a steal if we can. But they're looking to sell him at 27, and they want a 15% sell-on clause. So I think what we're going to try and do is bring this down a bit, because I don't think we really want to spend that much on him. But I am okay in adding up the release clause a little bit. So we'll see whether they go for this. Oh, it looks like they're holding firm. Let's see if we can just bring it down to 25 and add on the selling clause and make it 20%. See if Lille are any more. Oh, there we go. So they have a deal. It looks like they were maybe wanting 20%, and there we go. There's our first deal. Jonathan Ikone signing for us. I don't know his current wage, so we're gonna negotiate ourselves here. Don't leave it to the assistant manager. We might end up losing Ikone. Oh, this is a very swish restaurant. Look at this. Good to meet Jonathan Ikone and his agent, who's he expects to be the first name on the team sheet. I think I can accept that. I think he's better than Tom Cleverley, and yeah, I think he'll be a first name on the team sheet. The length of the contract. I am probably he's young. He's only 21, so 5-year contract is fine with me. It's good to see that they're on the same page. Yeah, definitely no release clause. I'm happy with that. He's a young player. We may get players coming in for him in the next couple of seasons. And his current wage is 29,000, so we will offer 32, and we'll give him a signing bonus of $1 million. Maybe hopefully that will entice him. There we go. Boom. Maybe we've overpaid. Whenever they accept first time, I always think maybe I've overpaid. Who had a Lazio badge on their shirt? But there we go. There's our first purchase into the team. Jonathan Ikone coming in on a wage of 32,000. Joined the team, ready to go. And I think obviously we've got another couple of players I think I will be looking to sign. Be interesting. I'm going to try and sign Zagadou here. I think he's someone that I think could play a big role in our defence. Don't really, again, want to pay 26 million for him, so we're going to try and see if we can get him for a little less than that. Look at that whopping great Watford screensaver. We are going to... Maybe we can offer a transfer. Maybe we can offer a player swap. Let's have a look at some centre-backs that we have. Would they be interested in any of these? Would Borussia Dortmund be interested in Craig Dawson? Probably not. So let's offer a transfer fee here. Let's offer 17 mil. Well, let's offer 16 mil. And let's see how willing Borussia Dortmund are. So they want 22 plus 15% of the transfer fee. So we're going to counter that. I don't really want to pay 22. So let's see if we can get away with paying 20. And again, like we always do, I don't think we're really going to sell on many of these players, especially when they're this young. There we go. So we've reached a deal for Zagadou there. We'll just have to negotiate. But before we do that, I'm just going to check our funds. That's one thing I didn't check. It's probably you should always check before doing this. So we've got what's our budget? We've got 52 million in the transfer budget and 300. So we've got plenty of money. I'm not worried about money at the moment. So we'll go in and sign up Zagadou. We'll delegate here. Wow. Okay, looks like we might have to pay a bit over the odds for Zagadou here. So let's start at, I'd say let's start at 35. And don't go any higher than, let's say 55. I think that should be fair. That should do the job. Hopefully the assistant manager gets it done. So it looks like Ziegler, who is a player who I didn't even realise played for Watford. But he's 28 years old, 74 rated. Not really a player that I'm going to use. Ghent are offering more, so we're just going to go ahead and accept that. No, not too many hard feelings about letting go of him. Well, hopefully this Zagadou deal will be done. We haven't heard anything from the assistant manager. But Sporting have come in for Craig Cathcart, which is interesting. I'm tempted to kind of hold off on accepting or declining this offer just until this Zagadou deal is done. Just have a look and see what our assistant is playing at. So he's still negotiating with Zagadou. Hopefully there's no issues there. And there we go. Zagadou is accepted at a wage of 41,000, so not too bad. If we had taken the initial things that they gave us, we would have been paying a lot more. So I'm kind of open now to letting Craig Cathcart go, now that we have Zagadou signed up. But we will negotiate. They're only offering kind of $1 million over his value, so we'll try and get a bit more money out of Sporting. There we go. So they haven't got more than 6.3, but then they don't want the negotiation to fall through. This is when the clubs play real silly beggars. And yeah, it looks like Craig Cathcart's going to be on his way now to Sporting Lisbon. So hopefully let's just power through some of these days now. Let's get closer to the season. Right, some more interesting things to come in. See now, this is a very, very interesting transfer. Now, Troy Deeney is someone who obviously has been at Watford for a very, very long time and is one of the linchpins of the team. However, he's getting on a bit and the kind of target man doesn't really work in FIFA, and I kind of want young blood in the team. And I was thinking I was going to keep hold of him. Obviously, I've got some of those younger strikers shortlisted. But now that Bayer Leverkusen have come in for him, and how much are they offering? They're offering 8.9. I'm tempted to take it. We are going to negotiate, see if we can get a little bit more money for him, but this has kind of got me very tempted. This Donny is looking real casual. Look at him from Bayer Leverkusen. So yeah, I think we're going to at least want 10 million for Troy Deeney. I think that's at least that they can pay for a linchpin of Watford. So, well, there we go. They accepted 10 million straight away. I think they were trying to lowball us in the first place, and we probably could have gone a little higher. Yeah, so Troy Deeney, it's an end of an era here for Watford. We're starting a new era with me as manager, and an end of an era with Troy Deeney leaving. Oh, what? No! Oh my god! Oh my god! What have I done? I forgot to accept the offer for Zagadou. Oh no. Oh no, oh no. He is not happy that we didn't accept. That is a problem. And we've made a shocking error already. That is not good at all. Whilst I painfully try and address that over the next coming weeks, to address that Troy Deeney situation, we are going to sign a striker. And we are going to sign Ryan Brewster. I am confident that he will be good for Watford. He won't get too many games at Liverpool, so he should be pretty easy in coming to Watford. I think we could get him for a real low amount here. We could get him for almost 1 million. There's Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp's going to agree to £1 million for Ryan Brewster. That is incredible. We're going to delegate the... so I think we can almost start at 10,000 and we can go up to 24. That should be okay. And I'll just have to remember to accept the deal. I completely forgot about the Zagadou thing. That's such a shame. Hopefully we can kind of maybe try again with him. Don't know whether that will work or not. Tom Cleverley. Who's coming for Tom Cleverley? Wolves. I'm sorry, Wolves. You are a direct threat to us. So no thank you. And it looks like we've got Ryan Brewster. He's accepted our offer. So before we make the same mistake, we are going to go and accept that offer. Zagadou, we still can't do anything, which is really annoying. We have an offer for Decore, which is very interesting. He, again, is another player who is absolutely core to our team, and there's no way in hell he is going. Everton have come in from Mariappa. That's a very interesting purchase. I'm going to say no, just because we're not overly blessed with a load of centre-backs, obviously with the Zagadou deal falling through as well. And he's a good person to have as a rotational player if we do get any injuries. But one player who we are going to sign as a centre-back, because we weren't able to sign Zagadou because of my incompetence, we will go and sign, or we will try and go and sign Conor Cody. Now, obviously, he plays for a rival club, so we may have to pay a bit over the odds, but he's proven himself in the Premier League. And yeah, we're going to shortlist him. And obviously, as you saw there, he is a leader of men, exactly what we want in the centre-back position. We may have to pay a little more than maybe I would like for him, but you know, I think it's worth it. So I think we're going to offer 12 million here for Conor Cody. We're wonder what Nuno's going to say to that. Oh wow, okay. Well, Nuno didn't put up much of a resistance at all, and I think personally, I think that's a real big steal. I think Conor Cody is 26 years old. He's got Premier League experience. I think that could be really, really big. We'll start with 20k and we'll go up to 40 there with Conor Cody. I think he will be... actually, you know what? Maybe that will work out better for us in the end. He's obviously got more experience in the Premier League than Zagadou did. And he's a bit older, obviously, which is it's not the best thing. But looks like... someone's come in again for Cathcart. Unfortunately, negotiations with Conor Cody and his agent have reached an impasse. They considered our initial offers too low. Wow, so it looks like we've messed up another transfer for a centre-back. I thought we offered plenty enough. Sevilla are trying to take Craig Cathcart off us. That's going to be a no, particularly after Conor Cody didn't happen. It's really a shame that you can't, when the assistant manager goes in, you can't kind of overrule him or whatever, which is a bit of a shame. So now it looks like our two first-choice centre-back options, we have failed on acquiring. And I guess this is probably, you know, realistic of real life. Sometimes you want certain players, but you're just not able to, secure them because you're not willing to go. But Porto coming in for Delafeu, no thank you. We are going to look for another centre-back now. Obviously, look, we're approaching the Premier League season and we do need a centre-back. So I'm going to do a bit of searching here for some Premier League centre-backs. I think we need a bit of experience and we'll see what happens. So here's another interesting player, Rob Holding. This might be a bit of a long hop, but I don't think he's going to get too many games at Arsenal. So if we can nab him, that would be a real steal for us. So as our first choice here, we're going to try and buy Rob Holding here from Unai Emery. Obviously, we tried to buy Conor Cody for that 12 million. That didn't work out. So we're going to try and offer 6 million here for Rob Holding. See whether Unai Emery likes that amount. It looks like they want to sell him for 10. I don't really want to... offer, so I think I'm going to edit the sell-on clause, mate. I'll leave that at 15. That's okay. Let's just propose a new transfer fee. Let's make this. Let's make it 9.5 million. I think that's. We're arguing over not much here, but I think he should. Yeah. So there we go. Unai Emery has said yes to a 9.5 million deal for Rob Holding. We're not going to leave anything to chance with this centre back. We do need a centre back, and it looks like we've. Sealed the deal there for Rob Holding. So we bought in Jonathan Ikone, Ryan Brewster and Rob Holding so far. So we're not making too many sweeping changes. One thing I have to say, FIFA, I really like this kind of background that you get when you're approaching the Premier League. I think that will change based on what competition we're playing on. But it looks like we got in a deal for Mariappa. We said no to Mariappa in the past, so that will continue. So again, we're getting super close now to this opening Premier League game against Brighton. And it looks like we're going to be attending the press conference for this first game of the season. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Watford's International Cup early exit wasn't quite the debut fans are hoping for. How does it impact the squad ahead of the first competitive match? I think we must learn from our mistakes. We make some mistakes, but we're all about learning and improving. We must learn from any errors we've made and move forward. This is how the team will work. Can the team remain clear of the lower end of the table? So that's going to be it, kind of our first priority, and then see how high we can get. So I think the squad is definitely capable, particularly with the players we've brought in. Interesting that our team morale is currently unhappy. After Ikone's acquisition from Lille, fans eagerly wait to see him grace the field. Will he make his debut against Brighton? Oh, they're asking. I think we're going to say he needs time to adjust. I think that's okay. I'm not sure we'll play him in the first game. Maybe bring him on, but want to ease him into the team. Don't want to put too much pressure on him straight away. And that's the end of our press conference. I do think the press conferences are cool, but I think they will get tedious after a while, and I think you will find skipping them. And so just before I finish up this episode, just going to kind of set up the team. I think everyone's kind of a bit unhappy, but what we are going to do as our first change is get where's he gone? Ikone onto the bench in place of Nathaniel Chalobah. I think Rhian Brewster probably won't make it onto the bench either. And we will bring on Rob Holding just to give ourselves a bit more defensive presence. We do have 2 centre-backs and a right-back on the bench. Maybe we don't need that many. But we then do have Will Hughes, Jonathan Ikone and Danny Welbeck. We will... Interesting. I'm not sure of this comparison between Holding and Cathcart. It'll be interesting to see who we prefer to play. I'm actually going to start with Rob Holding. I think Rob Holding is probably going to be more the future of the centre-back for us. So here's the team we'll go through. One thing we won't do, I just realised this, is play Deli Bashiru. I don't want to be playing him in centre midfield. And this really looks like this centre midfield thing may be an issue for us. We may need to sign a centre midfielder. Don't really have anyone on the bench. We have Chalobah, who could possibly come in. I think we may play Chalobah instead of Deli Bashiru for this first game. But I think this is a position that we're definitely going to need to change. Obviously, I think Cleverly will come into this position, I think, once Ikone starts. But we've got no cover, which is a bit of a problem. So we will be looking to address that in any kind of remaining part of the transfer window, or maybe in January, depending on how we go. So really looking forward to this Premier League opening game against Brighton. Hopefully kickstarting our campaign in the right way, not the wrong way, and losing or something stupid like that. But I will be playing that first game in the next episode, so make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel to see how we get on against Brighton. I'm really excited and gassed for this season, and I hope you guys are too. So thank you guys for watching this episode, and I'll catch you on the next one.